Video 22. Illegality creates criminals. That didn't sound very surprising, but what the heck. This and the next video will show how illegality, higher prices and uncontrollability directly and indirectly causes all sorts of bad stuff. Let us start with the most direct and obvious, how criminals are created. As an activity gets outlawed, whoever refuses to give the activity up, by definition, becomes a criminal. Illegalization thus by definition creates de jure criminalization of whatever actors remain on the targeted activities scene after illegalization, i.e., those who do not stop doing what they used to do legally now, after illegalization, by definition, become de jure criminals. However, the many millions of people that thus got criminalized by drug illegalization became only de jure criminals. It isn't as if they acted as real criminals. They didn't get into fraud, deception, corruption, acquisitive crimes, systemic crimes, or violence, did they? Well, maybe not initially, but being defined as a criminal, being surrounded by de jure and de facto criminals, and having to live not only with the stigma and marginalization that often is attached to someone who is branded as a criminal and with the law on one's heels, does thing. That and the higher prices of illegalization, whether one has to pay them as a user or get tempted by them as a supplier, soon will make de facto criminals out of many, especially out of suppliers. Also, there is another, less obvious way in which illegalization creates criminals. Some actors on a legal scene, as the activity gets outlawed, will indeed give up what is criminalized and stay within the straight and narrow. However, others, mainly de facto criminals, probably will be attracted to the free spaces created as those not wanting to become de jure criminals leave the illegalized scene. 3. Now, you might argue, these new arrivals are already criminals, and you are right, most probably are. However, 4. As these criminals leave their old positions, in whatever criminal racket they came from, they too will create free spaces. And 5. Even if these spaces too are filled with already proper de facto criminals, in the end there will be new actors crossing over into criminality. And 6. These too are thus a result of illegalization. And 7. This process is enhanced by the fact that the drug racket is the largest illegal employer and profit maker, and as such, by growing, it causes other illegal rackets to grow too. If you don't fancy this reasoning, try this. Illegalization, by making the drug racket profitable, also makes it grow. And by growing, it doesn't only suck up more actors, but it also makes other rackets grow by means not only of its demand of these other rackets' products and services, but also by means of investment of its surpluses in these rackets, because criminal and unlaundered money primarily looks for investment in branches where the money's color is of no or little importance. Thus, drug criminalization creates new criminals not only in the drug racket but also in other rackets, and it causes total crime to increase. i.e., illegality creates criminals by 1. Making criminals out of those who refuse to stop the criminalized activity. 2. Creating an influx of criminals from other rackets, thus creating free space in these rackets that in the end will be filled by people thus becoming criminals. And 3. By increasing the criminal jobs part of all jobs, and thus the criminals' economy part of all economy. It is a common reflection that criminals are bad, but the notion that the creation of criminals could be something bad too is much less widespread. Before criminalizing groups as large as the suppliers and consumer of narcotic drugs, one should therefore think, or have thought, both long and hard. This video has shown how criminals and criminal space is created, and in the next video we shall see how real criminality, i.e. criminal values, follows.